Hello knockouts, Tanya TKO here. And excuse the camera if it's tilted. I'm inside the parking garage. I just left the movie theater over here at Sundance. I saw an independent film at first, and then I saw this independent, I'm making this vlog about this video, this movie, Noah. I have some tremendous issues with this movie. Number one, I was saying I went to go see this film called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. And the movie was such a mind bender that I needed to watch the beginning again to get a grasp of what was going on. So after I watched the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, the movie was too twisted to even really make sense. So I left. After going to the bathroom, I saw that Noah was playing. And I remember from the previews that it looked like an epic movie with all types of, effects, etc. So I decided I would go see it. I have some tremendous issues with this movie. So much so I couldn't even leave the deck before making this video. Oh gracious, what in the world? Oh goodness, look. Oh goodness, I gotta show you through the rear. Doggone it, you're missing it. You are missing it. Oh gosh. I wish you could have seen what I saw. There's this... stuff is going crazy down here. I'm in Houston. You know what? I'm gonna put a picture of that up on Instagram because I saw this girl upstairs. She's... Listen, anyway. So nonetheless... leaving this film, what I gathered is that Noah is the father of civilization, as are his little stepdaughter and his son. They're the ones who birthed all of us. So all of us came from the children of Noah and his children and his stepdaughter. Okay, now that's just so highly improbable, implausible. It's just the whole thing. You know what? Let me just say, I found the movie disturbing. And I would say about midway through the film, I was disgusted. I was almost in tears. And I started getting really angry and just nauseated at this God of the Bible. Because I'm thinking to myself, because at one point, I mean, there were these big rock creatures that were basically the whole gist and the premise, because I wanted to say that I didn't see the beginning of the film, so I don't know what it was that caused all of this craziness. But basically, they were going to get on an ark. There were going to be 2x2s of every animal so that they could repopulate the earth. Apparently, there were some people who were acting crazy and being bad, etc., killing one another. And so God didn't want them around anymore, so he decided he was going to flood the earth. And that Noah was going to help orchestrate the repopulation of the earth, because this ark would have needed to be built and all of the animals would have gotten on the ark. But then there was some angry people who wanted to get on the ark too. So at one point, there was like a whole slew of them. Dirty, muddy, blood all over them. I think they were even cannibals, chopping off people's legs, eating them. It was crazy. So nonetheless, so there's these rock creatures. And the rock creatures are, oh my gosh, smashing and killing people. And at one point, the camera zooms out and there are mounds, stacks of dead bodies gathered around the rock creature's feet. And I'm thinking to myself, this is disgusting and it's barbaric and it's shameful and it's grotesque and it's completely hypocritical. And I'm like, okay, so it's okay for these rock creatures to slay humans like flies, worse than flies, like maggots gathered up around their feet, human beings. And I'm thinking to myself, what type of pathetic God would need to go through all of this? I'm sorry, I don't want to offend people, but I know people will be offended by that. But I found it, I'm like, okay, so this is supposed to be an all-powerful God, that they have to go through all this fighting and slaying and slaughter. I mean, in the movie, some spring of water came out, and trees, an instantaneous forest bust up out the ground. And then they were like, this is the wood for the ark, right? Okay, instantaneous forest just like that. But the same God who could create an instantaneous forest couldn't stop the heartbeat of a few thousand people. I'm like, I don't personally understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, and it's like, you know, I was a Christian long ago. I really was. And after college, I decided to read the Bible. I started with the Old Testament. And the stuff that I was reading about the jealousy and the anger and it was too much. And when I got to the story of Job, after that I could no longer be a Christian. I couldn't. I was like, why does God, all-knowing, all-powerful God, have to play these games with the devil? So much so that they take a man who believes in him, and his Job, his reward for believing in God and being faithful to God is to become a leper, to go through all of this pain, and then have to bring his child firstborn up onto a slab to kill him. And then after he was getting ready to kill him, everyone was like, oh, okay, no worry, no, it's just joking, haha, gotcha. After that, I wasn't a Christian anymore. People always ask me, you know, now, and you know, I don't talk about my religious beliefs in videos. I just saw this movie and I'm just so horrified and just so disgusted that I felt like I had to vlog, and I'm letting this off of my chest because I'm like, I don't really see how anybody who is rational and logical, it's like, you know, I don't see how people who are still Christian can go and look at the unfolding, the enveloping of a movie like this in plain sight, and then see and then come out of this and still be like, oh yeah, this is all right. It's like, I don't know. At one point in the movie, right, the floods had begun. And there were some people hollering and screaming on these rocks, just bellowing, just screaming for their lives, clamoring onto these rocks. And some water was splashing them off. And I'm like, I don't know, I just have a tremendous problem with the concept of the movie. I have a tremendous problem with the theory behind the movie. I have a tremendous problem with the lack of logic of this movie, and just the lack of I can't even express myself clearly. I basically just I'm disturbed by the whole thing. And I'm sorry, I find it disturbing. And then at one point, Noah was talking about killing his family and killing himself so that, you know, human beings would no longer populate the earth, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, that's good, because, I mean, look, you ain't no better than any of those people who are out there. All of those people who died, you ain't better than them. You know, it's like, I'm like, okay, so you and your family should be the only people who live while all of the other people were damned to this water death. I was hoping that he would have gone too. I was like, look, just kick your whole family off the boat, just push them into the water, and then you jump overboard too. Like I'm like, okay, let's just wipe the earth clean. I just didn't get it. And he was talking about the sin of these people, and he was like, there's no room on this boat for your kind. Really? Are we not all human beings? It's like, I just can't stand behind anything where love is not the foundation it's like, you know what? It's no wonder there's so many people who believe in all of this violence in the world, because people feel that the end justifies the means. That, okay, so if I'm killing people in the name of good, then that's good. But if people are killing in the name of bad, then that's bad. But still there are people being killed. I'm like, what's the difference between, you know, these people slaughtering and slaying each other, and some big rock creatures laying out mounds of dead bodies around your feet? What's the real difference? People are still being slaughtered. And it's like, okay, so in some people's minds, they've written up this book to explain why some people should be killed. And this is why those conquistadors were killing. I mean, this stuff is condoned in the Bible. This is why Bloody Mary and all these people going on these witch hunts and people slaughtering all throughout the Middle Ages and all. Okay, killing in the name of God. Really? Killing in the name of God? This all merciful, this all, I guess not all merciful. I guess that's not, listen. Oh, Lord. You know what? And I remember, because I used to tell people about the issues that I had with Job. And they would be, and they were like, "Oh, you should have read the New Testament, because the Old Testament had all of this." And then God said He would never be that angry and wrathful again. And I'm like, okay, so wow, the girls out here really be. Yeah, I wish you could have seen the first girl who had on that. You should have seen the first girl. She had on this outfit, she had on this dress that was like a tank top, like a, you know, like a wife beater. She had on this dress, and her butt cheeks were barely inside of it, and it was some weirdness going on. But anyway, so yeah, so I just finished watching that movie, and I found the movie to be very disgraceful. You know, some people, they rationalize with me that I should have read the New Testament, because God was like, oh, I'll never do that again. I'll be a kinder God or whatever. But I'm like, just stuff like this, just really, if I wasn't already not a Christian, I wouldn't be one after tonight. After witnessing that, I'm just like, that whole thing just disgusted me. It disgusted me. I was like, anyway, that's it. I'm done. Tony TK on. I'm out. Peace. You know what? I wanted to add this last point because I felt like I would be remiss without adding this. You know, we talked a little bit about... Now, I didn't mean to go into the whole story of Job and my own personal beliefs. I really only wanted to talk about the movie. But since we did talk about Job, and we did talk about the difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament, you know, I just have an issue with... I have an issue with, on the one hand, promoting and publicizing, you know, this God of the Bible like an omnipotent, all-powerful God, and then also, on the other hand, presenting him like a flawed God with human emotions, human characteristics, and human mistakes. I mean, when someone says that in the New Testament, that God says that he'll never be like that again. So was it a mistake for him to be like that again? Has he grown? Did he change and wisen up and or flip the script? He changed his ways, became a better God? Or it's like, see, this is just, the contradiction of it just doesn't make any sense to me. Because an all-knowing, all-powerful God, there's no, when you are at the height, tantamount, you know, when you're at the pinnacle, there's no further place for you to go. And it's like, if you as a God are living, or not living, but presenting an example that your followers, that you wouldn't want your followers to emulate. Oh goodness, it's like, I just see, the thing is, I have so many issues with this, because there's just so much of it that just does not add up and does not make sense. You know, so much of it just does not come, the pieces just don't come together. You know what, listen, And I know that the brainwashing is so deep and so deeply embedded and so entrenched that there are people who won't take a moment to lift their heads up out of the shrouds to even try to make sense of this. So they just take it at face value. And part of the reason I said that, if, you know what, it's like you can read something in a book, but when you know what, even when I was a child, I had questions. When I used to go to Bible school, I had questions about so many of these things. And I believe the story of Noah was one of the things I had questions about. Even as a child, I saw something wrong with this. Okay, you create an earth with man, and man starts behaving in such a way that you don't like, and you have to go through all of this. Instead of just snap. Why does an ark need to be built? Snap, stop the heartbeat. What? I don't remember what. Some movie I saw where there were these human beings that were walking around and they were powered by some source. And when they cut the source, boom, all those human beings dropped down onto the ground. All-powerful God got to build some wooden ark? Really, wood? It's like, why not stop the electrical current that's going through these people? We're all electricity, we're all atoms, and let's just stop. Boom. And then the last thing, I wanted to punctuate this point again. Noah is the father of civilization? Really? So Noah made all of us. I can't deal with this. I'm out of here, look. I'm about to head out, get out of this parking garage, and go back in and get me some rest. There's too much. Look, let me get out of here. Tanya TKO, come over to my website, tanyatko.com. That's the only link you need. I got all my links on my site. Join my mailing list. I'm in Houston, and I'm having a meetup next week, even though maybe some people don't want to come out and meet me now that they didn't find out I'm a heathen. I'm out of here. Peace.